If you're having issues with looping, thread breaks, or shredding thread, and you've isolated a particular needle, and you've performed all of the basic troubleshooting, such as checking needle orientation, proper threading, thread path, tension, and you've also isolated those problems to only that needle and not to all of them, then one of the things you can check is needle depth. Needle depth is the ride height of the needle bar, which is held in place by a boss that's attached to each one of the needle bars behind the head. As the needle bar moves up and down and it impacts with the sewing surface, over time incidents can cause it to be driven out of adjustment, out of the proper height, and once that height is off, it can cause the issues that we've described. Follow this procedure to check the height of your needle bar, or what's called needle bar depth. Next, remove the bobbin case. Take care to pull the keeper out of the way so that it doesn't get damaged or bent as you remove the bobbin case. To check needle bar depth, first make sure the machine is powered on and at the main drive screen. From there, press the main menu button, go to Other, and then Maintenance. We use this screen to advance the machine through the different parts of the sewing cycle. To do so, we'll engage the needle bar by pressing this button here, changing from jump to drive mode. From there, pressing the plus button will slowly advance the main shaft, rotating it and the needle bar together. Now you'll move the main shaft the rest of the way to the adjustment point. For setting needle depth, that will be 10 degrees. Go to the back of the machine and remove the black rubber cap, which covers the timing dial. In this close-up, you can see that the dial is marked like the degrees on a compass from 0 to 360 degrees, describing one complete rotation of the dial. On the left side is a pointer that shows you where the current main shaft position is. In checking needle depth, we'll want to get this the rest of the way to 10 degrees. From starting it with the screen in maintenance mode just a moment ago, we've turned the shaft already partially, so all we need to do now is turn it the rest of the way using a 3mm hex wrench that's provided with your toolkit. Turn the main shaft by inserting the hex wrench into the socket of the screw in the middle of the dial and turn it so that the pointer is exactly at 10 degrees. Making sure that the main shaft dial is still at 10 degrees. The needle is now in a position where we can check to make sure it's at the correct height to make stitches. You'll use a needle depth gauge, which may have come with your kit, or you can purchase it for maintenance purpose for your Happy machine. Insert the needle depth gauge into the spindle where you would put the bobbin case and move it back and forth. There will be a little bit of vertical play up and down. You need to make sure that the tip of the needle can at least scrape the surface of this plastic needle depth gauge. In this case, you see it cannot. It's not making any scraping noises. You can't feel any resistance, which means that the needle depth is too high. If it's too low, then if we tried to put the needle depth gauge in, you would actually be able to see in the basket of the rotor hook that the needle is too low and blocking the needle depth gauge from being inserted fully.